Welcome back, everyone, for a new weekly recap. And today we have quite a lot of stuff to go over. I mean, not necessarily a lot, but I want to come back on mainly what happened, the injury, and how can I prevent this from happening again. And also, will I be able to actually reach my goal of 116 for this week? That's kind of the big thing here. So, also, let's add the number 190 for this week. Normally, and that's also the main thing I want to talk about, that you probably saw when I did this video after the workout. I've removed the intermediate goals. And actually, maybe even those one I need to remove. Even though that's kind of what I have in mind, let's just remove them. Because I know that if I put in the work, I will progressively get stronger and eventually reach that goal of 180 on the squat, 140 on the bench, and 220 on the deadlift. I'm not that far because you see that I have already a best, which is somewhat, let's took my best here and here. I already a personal best that is not that far. It's not that far. But here's the deal. Putting some intermediate number, you never know how your body is going to react and adapt and so on. And just having some intermediate goals that I really force myself to is just going to make me either the body feel great and that's very easy to achieve. And so even if I didn't have the goal, I would have hit those numbers anyway. Or my body is not adapting very well at the moment because maybe I'm kind of in a phase where my body needs a little bit more adaptation or anything. And putting those goals on myself are just going to make me burn out because I'm going to try to hit them and maybe my body just can't. So, but here's the deal. As long as I said, I'm going to revise first of all because my training, but as long as the training process is good, I'm putting the work, I'm really confident that I will hit those numbers. And those numbers, I mean, it's not that these are all magic numbers, it's just that they are numbers where I know that strength will not be an issue anymore in order for me to generate power. Then this is going to be actually about power. And so that, of course, I told you in the past, this is what we are going to focus after. The last 3 cycles will be all about power and speed. But you need to raise your strength ceiling so it doesn't become an issue. And there is a lot of different honestly the true numbers that, because for everyone it's kind of different, but the true number there is an actual point at which strength becomes less an issue and you need to start working on power and speed. But the exact number kind of vary. And so for instance, it's kind of between having 2 times your body weight on the squat, and there is a benchmark I already told you in the past, but this is kind of between 2 times your body weight on the squat and 2.5 times your body weight on the squat. So on the bench that's 1.25 to 1.5, and on the deadlift that's about 2.5 to 3 times your body weight, I believe. 3 times my body weight will be 225. Let's time 3. Yeah, 225. 225. So you see that, and here if I do the squat 75 times 2.5. Yeah, 187.5. Honestly, the benchmark is mainly 1.5 on the 1.20. 1.5 on the bench, 2 on the squat, and 2.5 on the deadlift. Kind of the rough guess of where it's absolutely you nail it. Because it's great. Normally it's slightly lower than that, but it's very slightly lower than that. But by having this target in mind, I'm making sure I'm having it, and to be sure to be very sure, since I'm in a phase where I'm working on strength anyway, I want to be slightly above, more closer to this upper limit that I've told you, which also equate to a very nice round number of 4 plate on the squat, 3 plate on the bench, and 5 plate on the deadlift. So that's also very nice to kind of have. But after it's those numbers, I know that strength is not going to be an issue for me to actually reach my goal of 130 miles per hour by the end of the year. So that's why just to give you back. So anyway, here's the deal. I told you, having some intermediate goal in between just make the whole thing not really good, because it's either stressing me out by having to reach a number that I'm not capable of reaching, or it just making things very difficult. But here's the deal. I don't think on the speed side this is necessarily an issue, because here is kind of, I had some very big jump. I'm making some very big jump in terms of strength. Here, the jump are so small that my body has a lot of time to increase. And this is going to put slowly, because here at the moment, I know, injury aside, of course, that if I really give my best effort during a session, I might be able to average 120 to 122 during the session. If really I give everything, but that's not what I want. At the moment, I want to be able to swing between golf course like the swing and still being able to push those boundaries, getting higher and higher. But I'm gonna have to to progress a lot better, because here to make that average 120, 122, I'm gonna have to sacrifice technique, get into the red zone, and pretty much everything that's really when long driver is doing. But that's not my goal. My goal is to be able to swing on the golf course. This is my golf course swing. So that's maybe in the when you reach 130, we'll try to go for 140 with doing everything I can. But that's honestly, that's kind of out of question. We'll see that later. So golf course swing here. I'm gonna have to honestly, that's the first. Until now, that was kind of somewhat easy. We didn't really have a lot of issue, and since I was making some good gain in the gym, it kind of helped me a lot with steadily increasing my speed, as you saw. But here's the deal. Here I've been struggling a little bit. First of all, I got injured, and struggling a little bit to keep increasing the strength, because I believe that I can't starting overtraining without realizing it. So first of all, I'm going to fix that this week. Start on a new way of training that should allow me to recover better and get stronger more progressively. But I believe that kind of those 2 weeks are going to be a transition week where I need to alleviate the fatigue that I have accumulated because of overtraining, to then be able for the next cycle to go on and make some new strength gain that will be substantial. So pretty much that's why this week is going to be very challenging for multiple reasons. First, I got injured, so I don't know if I'm back at my full capability. Even though yesterday I managed to kind of do a 190 deadlift, so that was really insane. I really didn't thought I could actually pull that off, but I did. So I don't know how my body is going to respond this week. So that's the main unknown. Second, I haven't made some really big strength gain, to be honest. So that's going to be something I cannot really use to generate more speed. And that's the thing I didn't really want. I kind of found some key things with my swing, which I think going to get me closer to a re-swing and probably to help me generate more speed down the line. But at the moment, that's going to be more uncomfortable and making it more difficult for me to actually generate speed. So for the first time since we started working, I'm going to go in each session really focus and actually taking the warm-up very seriously, because as I told you, those speed average are for I do the warm-up, then the over speed training with the speed stick, and then I do like 20 to 30 balls, and that's where I'm measuring the average speeds for the session. So until now I was kind of a little bit dilettante or not really focus that much during the warm-up, because I during the warm-up I was generating some speed that was good enough for me to think that, okay, well, after the speed stick I should do it really great. Here 116, which means I need to attempt to go for 117, because 116 here's the deal. Last week when we had 115, I had a lot of things where, yeah, 115 was coming off the phase. I mean, I was able to do 115 swing not easily, but that was ongoing. If I did good swing with even without a lot of energy, I was able to do that 115 and get a few 116 when I was in the groove of it. But 117 is another level. 117 is really another level because I didn't got that much of it. I didn't got that much 117. So it means that, yeah, that's the first time where I need to go above and beyond what I've been doing until now. And so for that mainly means that on the warm-up, because and you will see that throughout the year where we get closer and closer to 130 and where I will be pushing my limit further and further. But there is what's called a speed protocol, where the warm-up phase is probably the most important phase of the speed training. The speed training is just you realize the potential you have built up throughout the warm-up. And throughout the warm-up, there is multiple things that you want to be doing. First is you want to steadily, throughout the warm-up, activate all the muscle fibers. And the way you do that, that's the main thing. You want to be able to activate all the muscle fibers and get the right sequence down, so all the muscle fibers are activated and firing at the same time. And so to do that, first of all, you need to have a first phase of the warm-up where you're getting comfortable with the technique and so on, just the overall flow of the technique. And then you need to focus on each power sources individually. That's why until now it was really important to deconstruct your swing, understand each power sources, understand what generates power and so on, learning how to apply more force to the club, etc., etc. Because now and more later, this week is going to be kind of the introduction of that phase. You want to have this warm-up phase where you are going to have your list of all the power sources you have, and as you warm up, first you as I said, you focus on the flow of the swing, and then you start adding up power sources after power sources. And the way you do that is you set your mind on, for instance, I want to hit my left leg hard into the ground during the transition. That's one power source, for instance. And you say, okay, for the next 10 balls, I'm focused only on that. That way, once the flow of the swing is good, you are then activating all the muscle fibers that are responsible for that move. And that activates also part of your brain that are responsible for that move. That's power sources alone. And then when you do the next 10 balls, after this one, you focus on another one, which, for instance, that could be being strong during the transition and getting the club to start very fast after being strong at the top, for instance. That can be another thing. And so you keep adding them, 10 ball after 10 ball. But each time that you have activated one, you keep it activating on the back of your mind, but you add another one, and add another one, and add another one. And that's something that you need to really work on and build up over a few weeks and months, because what you want to do is add power sources in the exact order where they are adding speed. You don't want to start with the biggest one that is adding the biggest speed at the beginning. You want to start with the small ones that are adding a little bit of speed, that you see you're not at your full max, but each time, you want each time you add a power sources to see it as a number and see that it makes a difference. So that's, and then you do that progressively until the end of the warm-up, where you have all your muscle fiber activated. You're activating them in the right sequence. All the power sources are kind of fired up in your brain, in your body. You know exactly, you have kind of activated your body to produce those force in the right order with the right power sources and so on. And the very last thing at the warm-up is you want to get your heart rate a little higher. But I was doing that last year when I was not doing the speed stick. Where here is the idea of kind of getting your nervous system fired up, and because once you have activated all your muscle fiber, the idea is you need your nervous system to fire up and your heart rate to go up. And so the speed stick are a very good way to go about it, to fire everything up. So then once you go and move on to the actual speed part, you have everything in place to actually reach the goal. So that's mainly what I mean. It's just funny. I didn't really think of it that I was going to start doing those things, but I guess this week is a week where I need to start taking things seriously here. So that's mainly that. Anyway, that aside, we've managed to reach the 115 goal last week. That's great. And 190, honestly, it felt, if I wasn't injured, I probably could have gone for 200. So I said I don't really want to put goals on myself, but what I would really want here is being able to reach my goal on all those at the same time. 160, 120, 160, 120, and 200. So we validate these full mesocycles. We can try to move on for 170, 130, and 210 next mesocycle. But as I said, I don't want to put pressure on myself anyway, so I'm going to do my best, see how my body adapts, change my training. Anyway, is there anything else on the speed part? So as I said, see, here, so this week I should go for 170. But last week, on the first day, I got some decent number, even 119, so that's great. But on the second day, the best I got was 117.3. So if I want to average 117, I mean to go for the target of 117 on each swing, so I make sure I'm above 116. That's mainly the goal. That's going to be hard. Actually, and this I need to change since here we go. And this one I delete because now we don't need it anymore. I mean, that's just what I want to say. It's kind of it's going to be very interesting and a very big challenge. And anyway, so the last thing I want to finish on is kind of, I know I kind of made a big deal out of this injury, but honestly, when it happened, I was really scared, because when you have 160 on your back on the squat and you go back up and your back is just crack, that's very scary. That's very scary. So honestly, I think I got really lucky here. It's well as bad as what I thought, because initially I really thought that I fucked up my whole year, and then I will not be able to actually reach my goal on 130 for this year, because I'm injured and I would have to wait for a while. But apparently it's okay. It's okay. It was just something moved, but my muscle tightened up and prevent things from getting injured. And then it was just about loosening up those muscles to make them to really send a signal that the spine is fine, there is nothing weird going on, so we can actually start training back to normal. So, and that's also the question that I'm asking myself at the moment. I don't know if I should start tomorrow with a gym workout or a practice session, because I have the two aspects. Because I'm going to do some squat. If I do the gym workout, I'm going to do some squat with heavy band, with the band, so that's going to be very heavy. I don't know how my back is going to respond back to a squat. I still have a little bit of discomfort, to be honest. And but on the other side, I don't know if my muscle have reactivated fully, and if I'm going to be able to comfortably do the session on the practice run. I don't know, but I think I'm going to stick with what I've done this week. First session being practice range, trying to go for that 117 goal for everything, with a speed stick as well. And then Wednesday, we are going to get back to the gym for the heavy squat and see how that goes. And I think since the heavy squat is kind of validated on the 200, and I think I have quite a lot of room for improvement because I think injury aside, but last week I really felt that okay, the 200 was kind of okay. I could have gone for 210, and since 210 it was not really the goal for this week. What I really want is what I might want to do this week is kind of start with the bench, because if I do the bench after the heavy squat, I'm getting so tired that then I'm going to fail the bench. But since the 200 on the bended bench feels somewhat okay, because I would want to kind of do all my PB this week to make just to validate everything. So if I can do 120 on the bench first, because I'm fresh and I'm ready to go, and 120, and then move on to the heavy squat with a band and go for that 200, and actually normally that should be fine. Just that this is my back. I don't know how well I'm going to handle the 200 on my back. That's the only unknown. I don't know how well that's going to work out. And maybe this is even better. Yeah, now I'm thinking about it, maybe that's even better that I'm doing bench first, because if I feel something, or God forbid I'm enjoying myself again, then I will stop and not do my bench. So I better do my bench first, and then see what happens. Yeah, but also I'm going to get tired. Yeah, that's the issue. If I do my bench first, I'm going to get tired a little bit, which even more, which could make it's just that I'm more likely to injure myself if I'm tired and lift heavy stuff, rather than I think I'm just going to stick with what I'm usually do, because you better be fresh and go for it, rather than tire yourself a little bit and then go for it with better be safe than sorry. So that's what I'm thinking. Don't go with the mindset that I'm going to injure myself. Go with the mindset that I'm going fresh, so I'm not injuring myself, but I might leave a little bit of energy. Maybe not. Actually, that's what I'm thinking. Since I'm not, because last week, the reason why I found my bench is because I went way too hard on the squat, done way too many reps, which actually made me tired for the rest of the week and so on. And here, I can remind you, what I want to do from now is kind of go do my warm-up, do only one single rep of the heavy set, and if that rep feel okay, maybe go for even heavier, but just one reps, top set. And then this is about, okay, I'm putting 20 kg of the bar, and then do more like a technique practice. Because I believe that to work on strength, I just need to go heavier and that's it. Then if I think the limiting factor of my strength is my skill, is my technique, then I get a lighter weight and do kind of more reps just to practice the skill. But not necessarily to get myself more tired, just to practice the skill. And then if I need hypertrophy, that's going to be on the machine. But this week, I want to alleviate fatigue, just work on strength, validate the strength gains that I've made. So I think just one top set, working up to that one top set, doing only one reps is going to be fine, and doing only one reps will not generate that much fatigue. So maybe that will also allow me to kind of be able to validate the bench as well. So I don't know. And there is a lot of unknown. As I said, this week is going to be very challenging, but yeah, I think we can do it. So let's get it done. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.